Yes, people. What's going on? Seagull Talks Football. We're back again with another video. Can you believe it? EBERECHI Eze and NONI MADUEKE. Arsenal apparently want both of them. We're linked to MOSQUERA. And today we're linked to Ekitike. What is going on? Honestly, it seems like tomorrow we're going to get linked to Wembenyama from the San Antonio Spurs. We don't know what is going on. Every day the deals just seem to be changing, flowing. Souls, talk to me. Before we get into the news, surely the club knows what they're doing, and surely this has to be a bunch of smoke screens because we keep getting linked to new players every single day. Are you there? Can you hear me? You're on mute. You're on mute. We can't hear you, bro. We cannot hear you. Shout out to the people joining us from This Is Football. Big up to all the people joining us from there. So Chelsea fans in the chat already saying, please get Madueke. We don't want nothing to do with Madueke. I can tell you that right now. Shout out to the Hussam Raid in the house. Looks like that's a West Ham fan. Big up to you. Liverpool fans in the building saying you never walk alone. You guys can hear me, right? Tell me you can hear me. At least you can hear me, right? Because Souls is on mute, but hopefully you guys can hear me loud and clear. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Big up to all of you guys in the building. Please do hit the like button on the video as you guys get into the building, as we do need to make sure you guys do hit that like button. That's the equivalent of paying rent here, so make sure you guys can do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You're good. Big up, big up, big up, big up, big up. Yes, I am. You can hear you, bro. Shout out to you too. We got over 182 of you guys in the building. I'm just gonna say, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what Hussam tells me. Liverpool are media darlings compared to the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United. I just see way more negativity spewed about that club, our respective clubs, on a regular basis. And when it comes to transfers, can we calm down? Like, there's no need to panic. No need to panic. The window is not closed anytime soon. It's June. It's going to turn July tomorrow. We're going to see Zubimendi, and we're going to see a bunch of these signings coming in. No need to panic. Relax. I feel like people are panicking. People are getting too crazy. Everything is going around, and everybody's just saying to themselves, you know what, we're not going to do what we need to get done. But I think everyone needs to be relaxed because the window is nowhere near closed. We're going to get the deals done. This is a new sporting director at the football club. He does stuff differently, and we're going to wait and see what we get done, what business happens, and everything. In the meanwhile, we hold our horses before we start going crazy. Man saying get clipped. Clip whatever you want to clip, man. But yeah, Souls, what are you saying, man? How you doing?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. We got 200 people in the building. What are you telling them?
Yeah, just to go back onto the question. Yeah, I think this is the way that Andrea Berta operates. Like, I mean, if you look back on the Atletico Madrid times and like kind of how he operates, is he tries to get multiple things done at once, or at least have deals lined up. The main reason isn't necessarily for multiple deals. It's more just to be able to have negotiating and bargaining power, especially when we're kind of shoehorned into a corner when clubs know what we need. You know, we desperately need a striker. We desperately need a left winger, and clubs know that. So, like when you look at it, and this is what I'm going to tell people to do, is to look at the evolution of the targets that we've had. Look at, for example, Benjamin Sesko. It went from 100 million euros down to about 70 million, 60 million in the space of a few weeks. If you look at the Victor Gyökeres deal, that went from nearly 100 million euros down to 80 to 70. So we're saving potentially around 20 to 30 million euros on either one of these deals just because of the way that Berta has operated. He's got us heavily linked to multiple players so that every club thinks, you know what, if we don't meet their demands, they are going to walk away. It's a little bit like Man City. Man City get their deals and they get their players at the prices that they want because in the past they've walked away from deals. They've kind of gone away and gone, you know what, you're not willing to meet our evaluations. This is what we value the player at, or we've had a previous agreement. You know, there's heavily reports of reliable people saying we actually made deals for Sesko and Gyökeres and had mutual agreements in January. And now the clubs are no longer honouring those deals. So for that reason, we've kind of just gone, okay, let's go negotiate other deals to bring these agreements back into the table. Now we're seeing these deals being done for cheap. And that's why I'm not panicking, because at the end of the day, we've got to understand that the club needs to run like a business as much as it needs to run like a football club. And also, if I'm not mistaken, our first game isn't until the 23rd of July. So
The
why are we...
23rd? I thought it was the 18th.
It's the 23rd. If I'm not mistaken, that is, unless there's a game before that. So we're not... Yeah, we play Milan or something like that on the 23rd. So what's the reason to panic? We've got no games up and coming for a few weeks. So we can just be patient. We can sit back and go, let's see how it rides out. When I can understand the sort of panic and the criticism and we're not moving quick enough is if we're getting to the start of preseason or the start of the season and we're yet to
let me stop you there. We're going to get back to all this conversation in a second. Shout out to everyone in the comment section. How do you pronounce that name? Is it Danish? Denishin?
Yeah, you're probably about right.
Denishin?
Yeah.
Shout out to you, bro. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name. Big up, Iga. I'm a Chelsea fan, but respect to you. Thank you. And you know what? Quickly, before we get on to Arsenal, bro, you seen Chelsea made a couple signings. What do you think about Joao Pedro and Gittens to Chelsea?
I mean, there's a lot of potential with their lineup. I like the Joao Pedro signing for them, and I also like the Gittens signing for them. I mean, the Gittens one's a bit of an interesting signing because of how raw he is. He definitely has the potential, and he can be a very top talent, but it's whether he can produce it quick enough and whether they can get the impact from him quick enough. But Joao Pedro, I think it's a phenomenal piece of business. I mean, £50 million, you can kind of sit here nor there, but I do think it's brilliant business in the market that we're sitting in.
I'm not hating on Chelsea. I think they've done some good business. But my question is, how are all these guys going to get enough game time to be satisfied?
I think one of the things that people need to understand is we can't compare their last season to the season that's coming up because they played in the Conference League. So that's a lot tougher and that's a weaker competition. So they could afford to rotate. Now they need level raising rotation. So they can't go from like a Jackson to a youth academy player in what's his name, that George kid that they have. They need level raises. They need that.
Bro, is getting Joao Pedro and Delap that much of a step up from what they had last year?
100%. I mean, think about it. Like you go for so.
I do think Joao Pedro is good.
Jackson's
and I do think Delap is good. I don't know how good Gittens is, so I'm not going to write him off. But Chelsea, they just need one of them to bang, and they're going to be much better than they were last year.
But here's the thing, though. If you look at it, they're going to go from, like, let's say, a Jackson, right, for example, starting to, if Jackson's injured, they've got Liam Delap, who, in my opinion, is a brilliant Premier League striker. Then you've got someone like, let's say, Pedro Neto's the one who plays on the left. Gittens is good enough. Like, as a backup, as someone who plays a part role, good enough. Joao Pedro, and you can put him into the Cole Palmer position. You can do wherever, really, or on the wings, is much better than what they had last season. So I think they've improved their depth massively.
Ferris. You know what else happened this week that a lot of people were upset about, angry about? Some people were just saying some crazy stuff. Did you see the reaction to Thomas Partey officially leaving Arsenal? The reaction was crazy. I mean, like, some people were going crazy in the sense that they were like so angry at the club for letting him leave. Some people were celebrating. There were some people in the middle just saying, you know what, wish him all the best. The reaction to Thomas Partey officially leaving, as today is his final day at the club. What do you think?
I mean, it's the right decision from the club. I mean, we need to stop being lazy in terms of just holding on to players for the sake of holding on to players. I mean, he was demanding far more money than what he was on already when he's shown unreliability in terms of being available. There was only one season, and that was last season, that he was actually available. And even if you look at it then, he actually, you know, when people sit there and say he was one of our best midfield, let's be honest, it wasn't hard to be one of our better players. We were shockingly bad and way underperforming as an entire team. And I am going to say this, and I'm going to say this with full chest, and people can come back to this or whatever. Zubimendi is going to be by far a better player for Arsenal than Thomas Partey will be. So I've got no worries. I'm not concerned at all in terms of letting Thomas Partey go. My only concern is bringing in someone like a Norgaard as a backup. I would rather a Gumi coming in, someone of that nature coming in instead. But I'm not that fussed. It is a backup at the end of the day that shouldn't really feature much.
Hey, I'm just going to say this. Thomas Partey has been here for a little while. He's been decent, really good at times, one of our better midfielders at times. Last season, I felt like people were slightly overrating his effectiveness in games, as Declan Rice was the real match winner. Declan Rice was the guy making majority of the difference. Thomas Partey, yes, he had good games, but I think overall, run of the whole season, he was not our best midfielder. And I think people are kind of overdoing it when they say,
if you actually go back and watch his performances, half the time he was walking back.
Yeah, he wasn't our best.
It was crazy. It's actually crazy. Like some of the revisionism that people are doing of this, like the reason he didn't get injured is because he was barely running. The guy was not playing at full effect, and he can't. And that's the problem. You know what the problem that I have, right, is he's going to get injured. You know it. You just know next season he's going to pick up an injury. That's why I'm not letting him go.
And he's a little bit older, injury history. He's not going to be guaranteed starting week in, week out. And they want 26 million over 2 years. That's crazy.
Yeah, do you know what it is? Sometimes it's worth paying the money. But in this situation, when he's shown unreliability, he's cost us games as well. I'm not sitting here and slagging Partey off, but I just think people need to chill out and people need to understand that as good as he's been, he's also been a liability for Arsenal. And do you know what? I don't even go on the off-pitch issues. I'm just going on the pitch, and I just don't think it's a bad decision to let him go. The only problem is we haven't done a good enough job of getting a better backup. That's the only concern I've got. But Norgaard's a good player. I think he's more than capable of being a good backup, but we'll have to see what he does for us.
You know what? Let's take a second. Early in the window, I think Berta's done okay. Berta's done okay so far. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like everyone's quick to say, well, Andre Berta hasn't signed a striker yet, hasn't signed a left winger yet. Think about it. You got a backup keeper, got 2 midfielders, potentially going to be getting a backup center back, and it's not even the 1st of July. That's not bad. I know we haven't gotten our main targets yet, but we're currently working on them. Isn't that ahead of schedule for Arsenal to have potentially 4 signings already pretty much almost through the door?
The problem is people want what they want and when they want it, and they don't get how we do it. The problem is Arsenal fans are hypocrites within their own, because they want us to act like a proper club, but then cry when we do. It's like the same people are going to complain that we just went and buckled up to Chelsea and paid Kai Havertz the money that he wanted. But then the same people are now complaining that we're not doing the same for a Sesko, we're not doing the same for a Gyökeres, we're not doing the same for, let's say, Nico Williams or a Rodrygo or whatever the case may be. Yet we're yet to, by the way, bearing in mind, we're yet to play a preseason game. We're 3 weeks out. They're all on summer holiday, by the way. None of these players are actually training, nor are they playing. So why does it matter whether we get the deal done today or we get it done in a week's time? It's the same thing. They're not going to train. They're not coming back from their holidays just to start training early. They're going to be returning when the preseason starts. So why does it matter? This is what I don't understand. You know what it is? Arsenal fans need to find a reason to complain. They can't have the club do well. And that's the facts of the matter. They will never want the club to do well because they can't run their agendas and moan. I guarantee you, we win the league, they'll cry that we didn't win the Champions League. The problem is we need to stop complaining and let it ride out. It's not like we've sat there and gone, yeah, business is done. No, we're actively negotiating multiple deals. 1 or 2 of them are going to get done. We just need to sit back and wait until it happens. Where I can understand the moaning and the crying is if we're getting to the end of the transfer window and we're getting to the first game of the season and we're nowhere closer to getting a left winger or a striker. Right now, I don't know what the panic's about.
All right, let's quickly go through it. There's no real. Does anybody know how much Myles Lewis-Skelly is officially making? Because I'm seeing some people talking some crazy numbers. we know Myles Lewis-Skelly signed a new deal. Never in question, in my opinion, that he was going to sign a new deal. But how much is he actually making? Does that? I know some people probably don't care, but I just want to know because like
It's probably going to be around the 40K mark, 50K mark. That's usually what they
I
give
seen
their
someone
players.
talking about 100K. I'm like, yo, relax. What are we talking about?
Nah, I can't imagine him be, because normally what they do is like when they go from a youth level to professional contracts, like they done the same with Saka. Saka got his first like main deal was around 45, 50K, and I reckon that's what Lewis Skelly's on.
His second deal was 90K. Now he's on 200.
Who's this Saka?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it obviously, if he continues on this trajectory, I can't imagine him not going in the same way. But it'll be
They
somewhere
said
in the
Myles
region of
Lewis-Skelly is the
50K.
highest paid player in his age bracket. So 40 million sounds about right. Christian Norgaard, I think people are overreacting with the Norgaard stuff. It's not that bad. Like, why are people making it seem like Christian Norgaard's a Partey replacement? He's not a Partey replacement. He's a Jorginho replacement. He's somebody who's coming in, reliable leadership, ability to play well defensively in the transition, and also help us. Hopefully, he can help us as much as we need him when we're facing low blocks. Now, what made me say, you know what, it's not as bad is because I seen a video of, what do you call it, the former Brentford manager talking about his Norgaard's ability to join up high in difficult situations and able to press and able to win the ball high up the pitch and quickly cause counters. Now, I don't know if you remember the game that we played against them, the first game we played Brentford in the league a couple of years back. You had the manager basically do a breakdown video, and in this breakdown video that he does, I'm going to show you guys. He speaks about Norgaard's ability and how.
So in that transition, we knew the more it's possible, especially in the high pressure, I like to go a little bit more man-man. Because if you go a little bit in between, these teams are too good. They just find the pass in between the play around you. If you're high up the pitch. If you're lower, it's different. That's why we make it a little bit more compact. So we need to find the right balance between that. Again, if we can get the two strikers to do something like this in these situations, and then they were able to play all the way down to Leno, and then they played to Chambers. It was very important that our outside eight, in this case, Vitaly Channel, released early and put the pressure, and we were brave enough, to really, really be front-footed and really brave. And can we lose a duel here? Yes, we can sometimes, but I still believe it's so difficult in the right moment, and if we press with the right intensity, that we were able to do that. Another thing where we knew where they will try to goal kicks again.
I was trying to find the part where he speaks about Norgaard. Where is it? Because he's basically speaking about how Norgaard's ability to press, and he and didn't really mention it in that clip. So I'm gonna have to go find it. I don't know why they posted that part of the clip, but in the clip he does specifically mention Norgaard and the ability that the team presses. So he has played in a pressing system. He has been able to do certain things they would be asking from a midfielder in his position. The thing is, will he be able to do it in the final third also? That is the question that we need to ask. I don't think Norgaard is a bad deal. I think it's a sensible transfer. By the way, Norgaard's entire transfer cost less than Thomas Partey's first year of his contract. Thomas Partey wanted 13 million a year, which is 250K a week. Norgaard's transfer plus wages is going to cost us less than the 13 a year. Just saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Norgaard, in a sense of like his profile is brilliant for what we need, especially as like a shutout finisher, someone who can come on for like a Zubimendi or even a Declan Rice in some cases, and like you just said, press up high, shut off games. He's physical. He's got the legs and the energy. He covers an incredible amount of ground for a player. Like, one of the biggest things that Thomas Partey didn't do last season was when he was high up the pitch, he didn't have the legs to come back. That's the one thing. Like, I can find you evidence videos of this happening. You've done it against Newcastle, PSG. You've done it against Brentford. You've done it in so many different games that he couldn't make his way back when he was high up the pitch or when we were getting countered. The one thing that Norgaard will do brilliantly for us, especially if we're trying to shut off a game or we're trying to chase a game even, he's got the ability to come into the box and find where the ball will bounce. That's one of his key strengths, especially in set pieces. So I'm not that worried about the signing. Like you said, it's a £10 million signing. It's there to be a backup in case we do need him. Declan Rice can come in to play the 6. We've got Mikel Moreno if we really wanted to. Norgaard is there as an option and depth, which is something that we Arsenal fans cry about all the time. Do we have the options? Do we have depth? What's going to happen if Zubimendi gets injured? What's going to happen if Declan Rice gets injured? What's going to happen if this happens? And now that the club is addressing the depth and actually bringing experience in, we've got a problem there as well. It's like Arsenal fans can never be happy.
You know something? Certain people wanted 6 or 7 signings. They might now get those 6 or 7 signings, but they're upset about the quality of those signings. That's what it is.
But those signings aren't all going to be quality, though, or perceived quality. Like some of them
They're
are going
saying
to be.
Kepa's not good enough to be a backup for Arsenal now. All of a sudden, because he wasn't good enough for Real Madrid, and Lunin had to step in.
Yeah, but Lunin's basically their number 1. Lunin's played better than Courtois for them.
All right. Let's get on to the next topic. The next topic is Zubimendi. We've already spoken about Zubimendi, to be fair. He's going to be announced tomorrow, you think?
Yeah, I mean, they done that for financial reasons. It's to do with like PSR and how the books work. And if we get the deals done for the following year, then it goes under our new PSR like refresh rather than the old one. So I think look, these deals are done. They wouldn't be announced by such top reputable journalists if they weren't. So yeah, I don't think they're the ones that we need to be worried about. I think all 3 of those deals are done. We just gotta wait until the official announcements are made.
All right. Martinelli has interest from Saudi Arabian clubs. I don't see him going to Saudi Arabia. Do you?
No, I think it's too early in his career. I think if he was more like 27, 28, we could potentially.
And it's a World Cup year. And it's a World Cup.
I can't see it.
I can't see Martinelli's future being.
Also, we're not forcing him out. I think a Trossard, yes. A Martinelli isn't being forced.
Trossard's being offered a new contract, bro.
No. But there's a bit like, for example, if let's say a Saudi club came in and said, "We'll take Trossard for 30, 40 million," we'll more than likely just sell him. Whereas at a Martinelli, we're a bit more reluctant to selling him because there is still a player in there, and it's evident that Arteta does rate the player. It's just whether we can get that quality back out of him.
I think Martinelli in a fast-paced team like a Newcastle would be amazing. But at Arsenal, we don't play with as much pace as Martinelli would. I think he would suit a team like Barcelona. He would suit a team like Newcastle. He would suit a team like, I don't know, Napoli. Teams that play fast football. But yeah. Quickly, let's talk about Eze. Bro, there's so much going on about Eze. But you seen the article today? Huh? Did you see?
Yeah, for the Eze. Do you know what? I'm going to be completely honest.
Forget about that. Let me just pull it up because it's not just Eze. This is Eze and Madueke. Apparently, Arsenal want both. Now, the source is, of course, Goldbridge.
Yeah, he's trying shit.
He said Arteta likes
shit ever.
Talk to me. What are we saying? Because I don't want that bum Madueke. No way.
I'm not even talking about him because it's bullshit. I don't even care. Like, come back to me and it's bullshit. I can tell you now, it's lies. It's there to generate clicks and views. This is what a lot of these guys are going to do. So ignoring him, I've not got time to talk about it. Eze is a brilliant signing. I mean,
he's saying Arsenal want Eze and Noni Madueke as the alternative to Rodrygo. So basically,
yeah, good for him. I don't care. I don't believe it.
Basically, he's saying you have a choice. Either you get Rodrygo or you get both Eze and Madueke to fill 2 birds with 1 stone.
No, I hear what you're saying, and I don't care. He's trying shit. It's as plain and simple as that. I'm not even talking about Madueke. I'll talk about Eze because that's a little bit more serious.
But you're the one who said Arsenal Football Club are, of course, going to speak with everybody. So do you believe?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we're going to sign him. Like, I mean, obviously, if another club,
do you believe we spoke with Chelsea at least?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. We spoke to Garnacho. Does that mean we're going to sign Garnacho?
No.
We spoke to Brian Mbeumo. Are we signing him? We spoke to loads of players. It doesn't mean any. Oh, look, people need to understand how business works, right? Business works. You've got to have the leverage. You've got to have the power in negotiations. That's all we're doing. All we're saying to the likes of Real Madrid, what we're saying to the likes of Atletico Bilbao, or the likes of Nico Williams, the Rodrygos, the Lookmans, etc., whoever our actual targets are, is we can pivot. We can go ahead and go and get any one of these players if you're not willing to meet our demands. We have to give a perception or a perceived perception that there's a lot of interest and we're willing to walk away. Because the more power we hold, the better it is for us. We have a lot more bargaining power if we can sit there and go, well, listen, we can go and get Nico Williams because he's now willing to come. That means Real Madrid have got to make this deal happen. Otherwise, they may potentially have an unhappy player on their roster. So, and they're paying good money too, by the way. So that's all it is for me. Like, for me, the Eze deal only makes sense if we don't get Rodrygo. That I can agree with, because I don't think Eze and Rodrygo coming in is good business, because it's just too samey same. It's not gonna. It doesn't give us a transitional threat. It makes us a lot more controlling and creative, but that's not really. We need one transitional player, and we need someone like an Eze or Rodrygo. So the ideal would be like a Nico Williams coming in with an Eze.
I don't want this man at all. I think he's a bum. I think he wouldn't offer us anything in the final third that Ethan can't already offer us. For example, last season, Ethan in the league and in the Champions League and in all domestic cups offered us a lot. Let me just go. Ethan Nwaneri. By the way, Ethan Nwaneri already also was producing goals for Arsenal last season. He got us 3 goals in the League Cup, 2 goals in the Champions League, 4 goals altogether. There you have it. That's 9 goals right there. 9 goals, all competitions right there. Do you think Noni Madueke bettered that last season? Probably did in the because they played in the Conference League. How much did he have? He had 7. He didn't even better Ethan's goals last season. Bro, 23 years old. I don't think he's better than Ethan.
You know what this is, yeah?
He's 23 years old, and I don't think he's better than Ethan. What's the point?
It's not. Look, it's not happening, man. It's not happening. Like I'm telling you, people can come back. They can ask loads of questions if they want. But the reality of the matter is, Noni Madueke is horseshit. There is nothing to that story. Yes, we may have spoken to his reps. We might have just. That's what we do in negotiations. That's how it works. At the end of the day, if people want to believe it, go ahead. I'm not really that asked. Like, I know for a fact it won't happen. So, but people can believe what they want.
Yeah. Anyways, Goldberg in 2025. Man said we're gonna get what do you call it, Gyökeres.
Yeah, he said it's a done deal. Where is it? Where's Gyökeres?
Yeah, he said Gyökeres is a done deal.
Here we go. Where's the David Owens? Exactly. People just the guy trying. He's a look. At the end of the day, he's a Chelsea rep who's trying to muster up some interest for a shit player that we don't want.
Also, quickly talking about another player we don't want. Arsenal fans are going crazy crying about the fact that Tottenham could sign Mohammed Kudus. I don't get it. I think Kudus is a situation similar to James Maddison, similar to Basuma. Tottenham are always getting people's leftovers. That's what it is.
Do you know what it is? It's not that I don't want Kudus. I just think there's far better options out there for the money that they're going to be asking for.
Yeah.
Like, who would you rather get, Rodrygo or Kudus?
Tottenham kind of have no pull. That's why guys like Kudus are their only options at this point. They wanted Eze. They pulled out of the Eze deal. They want friggin' all these players and Buemo and stuff. They're choosing to go to other clubs instead of them. Apparently they wanted Norgaard, and he's coming to Arsenal also. So it's like,
they were quoted 45 million for him as well.
I don't think it's the end of the world if they get Kudus. I'm not somebody who's hell bent on Arsenal signing Kudus, and I don't think we even have he fits us as much as an Eze would fit us, who can actually play on the left side. Now, quickly, let's talk about Rodrygo, because Rodrygo is out here. Reportedly, he's not even going to start the next game for Real Madrid. As reported 5 hours ago, he's going to be on the bench for the 3rd consecutive game. At this point, he needs to realize they're telling him, you can leave if you want to, just bring us a decent offer. And him not playing in the 3rd consecutive game for Real Madrid just kind of tells me game time might not be there for him. It's a World Cup year. You're going to have to move. Why not come to a team where you're probably going to be treated like a priority rather than staying at Real Madrid where you're fifth option, fourth option?
Plus, he's got his Patriots in Gabriel and Martinelli's there as well. I mean, whether Martinelli goes or not, that's a completely different
Martinelli's probably not going to want to be a backup to another fellow Brazilian.
No, I'm just saying he's there as well. Like, well, whatever happens, right? But at the end of the day, like, that there are players there that can bring him in, welcome him. Martin Odegaard's another player who's obviously had connections with him in the past as well. Like, there's a lot of opportunities to become, because the thing is, it's not like he's going from Real Madrid to an unknown club. He's going from Real Madrid to an Arsenal who do have global power as well. So for me, like, a lot of the deal does make sense if Real Madrid are asking him. And if it's to look at the end of the day, like Florentino Perez has come out and said, if a player does not want to play for us and does not want to stay, they can go and get a deal and we will make it happen. So he's openly kind of indirectly saying Rodrygo can be sold. So everything can align. And I think this is why like patience is needed. Because if we're talking about it realistically, Rodrygo is a major, major needle mover. He's a world star. Like, he's one of the best wingers in world football. He's one of the most underrated players for Real Madrid. And that's who we're about to sign. So sometimes patience can pay off. And this is one of those deals. If we do go and get a Rodrygo,
are we going to complain? Crazy. Enough about
has that been done?
No, it could happen. It could happen.
Oh, okay.
The list, this is the list. Rodrygo, Anthony Gordon, Eze. I'm not going to lie to you. This is refreshing. It's refreshing to see a list of players you rate rather than Noni Madueke, friggin' Jackson and fucking, I don't know. Who's the other one?
I think Williams is taken off the list because Barcelona are basically making the deal happen, aren't they? So
Anthony Gordon's not going to happen, though.
It could, He is known to like cause a ruckus when he wants to move. Like, did you see what he did to Everton?
It's not going to happen.
No, you never know.
Same way how you said Noni Madueke is not going to happen. I don't think.
No, I'm not saying you should. Like, I'm just saying like that. Like the same way like people didn't think Gordon would do that to his boyhood club. He did. He disrespected the hell out of a club that raised him. So like, there's no reason that he won't do the same if an Arsenal or like a better club comes knocking on.
All right.
That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying there's a possibility that can happen.
We're going to come back to the Eze conversation, but strictly since we're on Liverpool, Newcastle, do you think Isak to Liverpool could happen?
That story's bizarre. Like, every day it seems to change. Like, Isak wants to stay or Isak won't be sold, and then all of a sudden he's available on the market. I guess it's up to Liverpool or even Arsenal whether they want to go and pay the 140.
Why would Isak join Arsenal over Liverpool?
It's not whether he joins us or joins them. It's whoever's willing to pay the money. I think it's quite evident Newcastle are asking for 140 million, 150 million. I think whatever club is willing to pay it.
150 is the starting price. They want closer to 200.
Well, then whoever's willing to pay that, I don't know what the price is, but whoever's willing to pay that kind of money is in for him. And I'm gonna be real. I can't see us do it with the amount of business we've done and we have to do. And I can't also see Liverpool do it because of the amount of money they've already gone and spent. I know people are saying they can spend upwards of £300-400 million or not, but clubs are a bit more realistic. They're not going to just go and splunk every single penny they can in one window.
He would have to push for a move away from Newcastle, which I just don't see at this moment in time. But fair. If Isak is going to Liverpool, it would genuinely crush me.
No, it'll be a.
I hope it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen.
Do you know what it is? I'm not that worried if we get the business done that we need to get done. Like, I understand people are like, it's a phenomenal signing, but if we can go and get a striker of our own, I'm not that worried. I'm not that like concerned because as long as we're doing the business we need to do, there's no reason we can't compete. There's no reason we can't go win the league. It's just whether we can get the pieces, because the problem that we've always had is we leave ourselves short.
There we go. All right. So what is the next topic? Let's get on to the next topic. Enough about Liverpool. I'm not even going to talk about the striker. Did you hear about the Ekitike conversation? What's going on with that? Why are we now being linked to Ekitike?
I feel like everyone's linked to him. I know Liverpool were looking at him. I know Chelsea were looking at him.
Media talk, or are we for real?
I've got a feeling it's a bit of both. I think it's just one of those ones where we've probably spoken to him in case we can't get. I mean, the thing is, I think everything is media talk, and Sesko and Gyökeres are the real ones, because I think it's between the two on who we want to get, because it's evident that Berta wants to get Gyökeres and Sesko's want to buy Arteta, but it depends on which deal makes the most sense, because we clearly rate them both. So everything else, I think it's just negotiations.
Who do you want? Because I want Gyökeres.
I want Sesko.
Why do you want Sesko? Because majority of people do not want Sesko.
That's fine. I always sit in the minority camp. I understand that. And
why do you want
part of the reason is I don't do stat-based analysis. I kind of do want to see the profile and how he fits into the team. I get people's point. He's put the ball in the back of the net. But my concern is how he's done it. His putting in the back of the net isn't something we can provide to him. And he doesn't have, we can't platform him in the best manner. I think he suits a Liverpool more. He suits a United more. He suits that kind of system a lot better than he would suit us. I don't even think Gyökeres does well at City. So
couldn't you make a case and say, if a player's good enough, they can suit any system?
No. That's horseshit.
Look at
how are you playing Rodrygo in a transitional system when he doesn't have any pace? He's not a quick player. He's good enough, but he doesn't have the pace. And Nico Williams suits a transitional system. So that's what I'm trying to say. There's certain attributes they just don't have. So for me, like the reason why I'm saying a Sesko more is because when you look at what we like is unlocking low blocks. We like against the smaller clubs. And for me, Sesko unlocks them better than a Gyökeres as well, because of the variety of different ways that Sesko has scored goals, suits us more, and what we need to kind of challenge for than a Gyökeres. Gyökeres doesn't solve the problem, in my opinion. I think he just is another solution to the problem we never had.
Gyökeres is 2-footed. He can finish in tight spaces, and if you give him the ball in the final third, he's burying it.
Yeah, but Sesko can do more than that, though, and we've evidently seen it.
We've not seen
more of an aerial threat.
We've not seen Sesko on a consistent basis finish multiple chances in the box. He's not.
Yeah, but that's Sesko
has not been asked to be in the box striker.
Yeah, but then we've not seen Gyökeres actually score against low blocks and against good defenders.
Yeah, we have. We've seen him against multiple
penalties against Portugal. Yeah, Portugal. Portugal, by the way, statistically has the worst defense.
What about in the championship?
Yes, he scored penalties against City. Even if you speak to City, by the way, if you speak to City fans, they'll actually tell you he didn't even have that good of a game.
Yeah, I know.
So it's a non-argument. It's a non-argument. People are looking.
He played against us. He gave us one threat.
Yeah, and
I'm not gonna lie to you. I want Gyökeres because of the sheer amount of goals he scored over the last 2 years.
Darwin Núñez scored loads of goals. Do we want him?
No, but Darwin Núñez scored 40-something goals over 2 seasons. Man scored 50 in
Joao Felix also scored a lot of goals in that league. Should we go sign him?
Okay.
Antonio Silva did. Fabio Silva did.
One second. He's 26 years old. He's 2-footed. He's a better passer than Sesko also. Don't forget that. In the final third, he's a much better passer.
Maybe, but you don't. Yeah, have you seen the kind of passes Sesko has to make? There's a big difference. You can't do stat-based analysis. You've got to watch them both.
I've watched over multiple hours of content on both. And in my opinion, Sesko is going to offer us, yes, he's going to offer us a much higher variety of goals. And yes, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done with Sesko to make sure he becomes a more complete player. I think Gyökeres, what he offers us right now, is a ready-made player who can come in and at least get you minimum 14 to 15 plus goals in the league. Whereas Sesko, I don't know if he's going to reach that. And at times, I don't know if he's even going to usurp Havertz.
I'll tell you now, if Gyökeres comes in, Havertz does better.
What do you mean?
If Gyökeres is to come in, Havertz will outscore him.
Based on what?
I'm telling you, he's not. I think people do massively overrate him. If you look, statistically, if you people want to do stat-based analysis, let's do it. Statistically, Portuguese league is the worst defensive league out of any of the top 10 leagues.
1 second. Shout out to
It's the
Super Chat.
weakest.
Egal Big Bro, is Arsenal coming second again? Hopefully we do not. Thank you for the Super Chat though. Zed comes in and says, Arteta, please free this guy from your basement. Funny Super Chat. Okay, let's come back to it. Bro, yes, the Portuguese league statistically is actually worse than the Brazilian league, worse than some of these other leagues in the world. He's done it in the championship also, don't forget that, right?
Yeah, his numbers in the championship are better than Sesko, though.
He's done it in the Champions League also. He's done it in the Champions League also. Sesko is 22 years old. He's younger. He has higher potential, and he could become a better player. Yes, he's better aerially, but what I like about Gyökeres is very simple. He is a player who, in the final third, you get him the ball, he's going to finish. He's going to finish his dinner. He is a player who, in the final third, if given the ball in the final third, will make what's necessary to get the chance, get it off, and get a goal. What we've lacked over the last couple of years is finishers in the final third. He is a clinical finisher. Sesko, on the other hand, he does have a high XG, but that's because the type of goals he's taking are from outside the box. He's taking shots with high difficulty in scoring them. Although I rate that, I don't think it will translate as easy as just getting the ball to somebody in the final third and getting them to score. The man is a in the box goal scorer. He not only is he good in the box goal scorer, he also is good at laying off good passes to his teammates to get them goals also. He's somebody who's a scrapper. He will get second and third chances on his own from his first shot. He's a dog fighter. He gets goals no matter what, and he will continue to fight for the second, third chance in the box. Where some people, they get their shot blocked, they start grabbing their head, they start giving up on the play. Gyökeres doesn't give up on the play. He continues to go for it every single time. Now, some of these things are characteristic traits, but one thing that worries me the most about Sesko Gyökeres comparison, mentality. I've heard on numerous occasions that Sesko might view Arsenal as a stepping stone. Sesko might not be sure that Arsenal might be the best fit for him right now because he's questioning if he can overtake Havertz, where Gyökeres has been told, if you're going to come to Arsenal, what do you want? He's like, I want the number 9 shirt. By the end of the season, I'll definitely be taking that job. By the end of the year, I'll definitely be taking that job over and I'll be the number 1 guy. So when you hear stuff like that, it just tells me characteristics-wise, I worry. Signing Sesko, who's younger,
yeah, but that's all
doesn't seem to have the same level of confidence.
We've also heard like a lot of journalists say that was all horseshit. None of that was actually said. None of the release clause stuff.
No. What was true is
last year
he was unsure. Last year he was unsure if he could overtake Havertz.
It's not about whether he can overtake Havertz. It's whether he can have enough game opportunity to develop. He's a young player. He has to be playing. There's a big difference. That's not a mentality.
We're not here to develop. We're here to win.
And he can now because he's had the opportunity to develop. The same things that we're talking about is the same things we're talking about.
He stagnated last year. He did not develop to a better level. He stagnated at the same level.
Because he had a different role to play. There's a big difference. This is what I'm saying. People don't watch. He was playing as a secondary striker. There's a big difference. If he's the main striker, every time he played as a main striker, you saw his quality.
He scored
a bag of goals.
He was never the main striker for majority of those games.
When he did play, he had played in a single striker role as well. He played in both. He had a secondary striker role where he was more of a supporter. But then when he actually played further up and he played as a singular striker, that's when he started bagging his goals. There is no issues in my mind. Because if we want to do stat-based analysis, why are we going for Rodrygo? Martinelli's not even far off him. He's not going to improve.
Rodrygo's a much better player than...
No, he's not. Statistically, if we're looking at stats, he's not a better player. Martinelli basically has the same numbers as him. So this is why I'm saying, if you want to do stat-based analysis, keep it. If we're going to keep it consistent, why are we signing Rodrygo for 90 million euros when he's barely better statistically than Martinelli is?
Because he has.
This is why you can't do stat-based analysis and base your entire form of your opinion based on just the stats alone, because it doesn't make any sense.
No, but I also based it off character, based off what we've heard.
Yes, and Sesko's character is fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
Nah, from what I heard, Sesko is questioning if he can develop at Arsenal, and he's also
No, whether there be development opportunities
where
for him.
Gyökeres is saying, I'm that guy now. You do need, at this level of football, you do need a level of confidence where you can get yourself to where you need to, because all the top players have a level of confidence in themselves where I have not seen that yet.
Also, how do it's agent talk? It's nothing to do with Sesko himself.
Hey, if you're confident in your skills, you come to the club and you don't necessarily worry about who's ahead of you.
Well, how do we know it's not Sesko stopping it, but his entourage? Because at the end of the day, you do take the advice of players as well. Sometimes the advice of your club isn't always the right thing to do. Mudryk went to Chelsea and he regressed. Sometimes you do regress. Like a lot of players have gone into these clubs too early. And that's not a bad. Like sometimes
I also view I view Sesko as a project where I don't view Gyökeres as a project. I view him as more of closer to the
Gyökeres just isn't a trust. I mean, look, I hope he comes in and I hope he proves me wrong, but don't be surprised if he turns out to be another Portuguese flop.
Why would he be a flop when he's outperforming every metric from a former Portuguese player, in Portuguese league player?
Because he's barely that far off. Like most of the players. By the way, like no one thought Joao Felix would be that shit. No one thought Darwin Núñez would come in. A lot of people are saying Darwin Núñez would outperform Haaland. So let's not rewrite history. Like a lot of people were saying this, even in the Community Shield, they said Darwin Núñez would outscore Haaland. What happened?
Gyökeres was going for the Golden Boot in a league where his goals counted as 1.5.
What do you mean?
That in itself goes to show you that how good he is.
Yes, he's done it in a stupidly easy league.
And he was still outscoring some of the best in Europe. His goals counted for less. And he still was up there with some of the best.
Yes, he's in a fucking easy league, though.
Yes, the top 10.
A lot of attackers have done really well in
the top 10 of the Portuguese league are not easy. It's the bottom half. That's the problem.
No, most of that league.
No. The bottom half of the Portuguese league is the weak part. The top 10 of the Portuguese league.
Have you seen some of the clown defending, even from the top 10?
Bro,
the half of them are
the Portuguese league have at least 4 teams that are better than majority of the teams in the Premier League. The thing is, the rest of
Benfica,
the rest of the bottom 10, the standard of the bottom 10 is not that good. But yeah. Anyways.
No, the majority of that league standard isn't good.
Long story short, you're not going to change your opinion on Gyökeres and Sesko. I'm not either. I'm going to stick to my guns. I think regardless.
No, but then you have to be consistent. So you got to say Martinelli's not even far off Rodrygo.
Martinelli,
but this is where people don't want to be.
Martinelli statistically is not far off Rodrygo, but Rodrygo has done it consistently over a longer period.
No, Martinelli's also done it in a similar consistency.
No, Martinelli has not been consistent over a longer period.
If we go back into last season when you bagged a load of goals, you bagged it in the Rodrygo.
If you want to do stat-based analysis, let's be 100% serious. Gabriel Martinelli, over the last several years for Arsenal, has had 10 goals, 5 assists, 8 goals, 5 assists, 15 goals, 6 assists. And if we go to Rodrygo, it has been much higher than that across those seasons. Let me go to Rodrygo. Rodrygo, across those same 3 seasons, what was it? 14 goals, 10 assists, 17 goals, 8 assists, 19 goals, 10 assists. Bro, it's night and day. It's night and day.
Martinelli's also had a season where he had 15 goals, 7 assists.
No,
Rodrygo
but it's
more. Last season is 17 and 9. So if we're looking at some of their best half of season.
Look at that. Look at that. That's multiple seasons where you have 20 plus GA. Now let me show you Martinelli. Same thing. Martinelli, those same 4 seasons, guess what? He only had 1 season over 20 GA. 1 season. Stop it, bro.
Look at the other season, they're fairly similar.
You can't compare Rodrygo's numbers to Martinelli's. And he's not even the second choice. He's not even the third choice. Some of those seasons, he's 4th choice. Some of those seasons, he's not even close to being one of the top options on the team.
Who?
Rodrygo.
Rodrygo's always been one of their main options.
No, Rodrygo, the last couple of seasons has been behind Vinny, has been behind, Benzema.
Yeah, but you can say that about Martinelli then. Martinelli, they both start though. They both play consistent.
Martinelli, his best season was the second best option. this season, there's been games where he was chosen to be the number one option and he still couldn't do it. Rodrygo stepped up on numerous occasions, bro. Let's not compare Rodrygo's numbers to Martinelli's. It's head and
They're
shoulders
both
better.
fairly similar, though.
Head and shoulders better.
Yes, in a much better team. But even if you look at Martinelli's numbers in a worse team, it's still not that far off his.
It's miles off.
It's not miles off.
It's miles off. What are we doing?
Last season was virtually the
Martinelli's
same.
best season of his career is Rodrygo's like third best.
Okay, let's look at last season then, right?
10 goals, 5 assists.
One moment.
Why do you have to look at it? I'm showing it to you right here.
Yes, and then what was Rodrygo's numbers? Virtually the same.
No, they weren't. Rodrygo's numbers last season, 14 goals, 10 assists. Freaking, that's the difference of 9 GA. 9 GA difference is the same.
Yeah, 6 goals, 6 assists. People aren't accepting these numbers from Martinelli. Why would we accept them from Rodrygo? This is what I'm trying to say. You can't do. No, my point is you can't do stat-based analysis because you wouldn't accept that from a Martinelli.
14 goals. If Martinelli gave me 14 goals, 10 assists, he's starting every single game.
You done, by the way, you've done 6 and 6, and 6 goals, 6 assists in 30 games in the league. Because we also want to break it down by the leagues, because some of them are done in the
Bro, I'm talking all competitions. Forget about the league. All competitions. You need to be able to get me at least 20 GA across all competitions. He's not been able to do that for 3 out of the last 4 years. Rodrygo does that easily every single year. Sometimes gets you 30 plus GA.
Yeah, look, in the Premier League last season, guess what? Martinelli had 8 goals, 4 assists, which matches the league of
Martinelli versus Rodrygo is a wild argument.
Yes, because if you want to do stat-based, and this is my point, if you do stat-based analysis, it all makes sense. But if you actually watch, guess what? Rodrygo's miles better. But you can't say that if you're going to be consistent with your argument and base it on stats.
Even the stats tell me that Martinelli is nowhere near Rodrygo.
Because if you look at it in the league, if you compare league to league, it's 8 goals, 4 assists for Martinelli. Guess what? Rodrygo done 6 and 6. That's the same.
But bro, I'm talking
in
about
competitions. In a way higher, in a way.
What did he do in the Champions League?
In a worse league.
What did he do in the Champions League?
In the Champions League, he did 5 and 2, and Martinelli did 2 and 2. Not even that far off.
It's not the same.
Not that far off, though.
It's not the same.
Not that far off.
The main 2 competitions, which is the league and the Champions League, Rodrygo is
and he's
much
not
more
even
consistent.
miles off. If you're doing stat-based, they're not miles off.
Bro, if we're doing stats and you are literally almost half, it's miles off.
Almost half. He's like 2 or 3 off him.
Stop it.
In the league, it's the same. It's just the Champions League he outperformed him slightly. This is why I'm saying you can't do stat-based analysis. If you do stat-based analysis, they look similar. On paper, they don't even look that far off.
Bro, I literally have brought you the numbers to your face and you still disagree.
No, because you can't. Because if they're playing in different competition, that's different. If we're going from league to league and Champions League to Champions League, you can see the numbers aren't that far off.
This guy's saying, forget about Rodrygo. Your club level is Noni and Tony.
No, because clearly no one has comprehension skills. What I'm trying to make the point of is you can't do stat-based analysis.
What is this?
I don't know. You need to translate it.
Sesko over Gyökeres. I don't know what you mean by that, bro. I'm sorry. Anyways, we're going to wrap it up here, Souls. Good argument. I'll wrap it up here. I don't think you can compare Rodrygo and Martinelli.
I'm not. What I'm saying is if you're going to do stat-based analysis, you can.
No, I think even statistically, Rodrygo is not is still superior to Martinelli.
Yes, slightly. Is he 90 to 100 million pound more? No. If you're doing statistical analysis,
he is.
This is why I'm saying you can't do that. If you're actually looking at the game and then you bring stats into it, yes, Rodrygo's a miles better player. But this is why I'm saying, like, people need to understand that stat-based analysis can't just be done, and that's it. Because the point isn't even at Uegal. The point is actually a lot of people who are writing off Sesko, saying that he's not good enough because Gyökeres has 40 goals. But we can make the argument for any of the players that we're linked to and make the same argument. People want Nico Williams to come in, for example, but guess what? His stats are also shit. So if we're looking at stats, we're never going to sign players. You got to look at the overall profile, how they fit into the team, and that's when you can make your analysis. When you're just making it based on what you're seeing in numbers, that doesn't make any sense. If you look at Gyökeres play, he doesn't score the kinds of goals that we create opportunities for.
All right, no worries, guys. I'm going to send you over to Mud Brothers. I need you guys to message Sheik and be like, Igal owned you, and that's it. That's a weird one, but yeah, just tell him Igal owned you. And we're out of here, people. Catch you guys in the next video. Love for love. We got over 800 people. Please do make sure you guys hit that like button. We got over, what is it? How are we only on 65 likes, guys? What the hell? Please like the video before we go. And we're going to wrap it up here. Catch you guys in the next video. Love for love. You already know what it is. Peace.